Hey, what's up guys? I am Brian from WhisperStatus74. In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about 8K and the panic that is beginning to set in for those of you that recently bought displays. The shootout, the TV shootout that happened today, I got a couple links from John Hooper and my buddy Fade to Black, as well as many others of you that have sent me to the shootout. I watched a little bit of it, and some of you got really hung up on the talk about 8K. 8K being the best way to get a Sony display, as it's the Master Series LED is 8K, Samsung's flagship this year is 8K, HDMI 2.1 on the new OLEDs, they're 8K, and some of you have just recently bought, not last year or 2 years ago, today, yesterday, last week. I'm starting to get more comments, especially since E3 and the talk of the new Xbox as well as the new PS5 are really concerned with 8K and really feel you may have made your decision too quickly. You may have some buyer's remorse already. You're already hearing these crazy specs for HDMI 2.1 and you're just wondering, did you make a mistake? So this video here is just to kind of reassure you and have you take your finger off of the DEFCON 5 panic button mode for just a second. And I want to just give you my honest opinion. And I'll look for your comments and anyone else who feels differently in the comments. So quickly, if you're somebody who is coming from PC and you're looking at 144 hertz, 1 millisecond response time, low latency, 240 hertz type gaming, then playing on a TV is really going to always be very difficult. I mean, this is a current Sony 900E, it's 4K at 60, it does 1080p at 120, it can do 1440p. But in reality, if you want that really fast motion, crazy speed, you're better off with a monitor at 1440p, 240 hertz. These are things that a lot of people now are hearing that aren't familiar with PC gaming, that just bought 4K TVs, and they feel, oh my God, I just made a terrible purchase. I'm hearing about 4K at 120 FPS. I'm hearing about 8K at 30 FPS. And oh my God, I made a huge mistake. So quickly, before we get into that, think about the, the 1080p benchmark for years. 1080p at 60 was the benchmark for a lot of people. And then PC community got into 1080p at 20. Us as console gamers, I'm also a PC gamer, but most of you watching this are actually console gamers that are playing on TVs. You actually never really experienced 1080p at 60 on the Xbox One X or the PS4, or I'm sorry, the Xbox One or PS4. Until the Pro version and the Xbox One X, 1080p was barely obtainable. The Xbox One couldn't barely do it at all. The PS4 could do it, but it was a blurry image, and it was primarily at 30, which was the need for PS4 Pro and Xbox One X after that. But I want you to think back to that PS4 Pro press conference talking about 4K and HDR, and it was a Mass Effect Andromeda trailer. Now, the reason I don't watch much E3, other than I did for the specs for the Xbox One, the new one, was the vertical slice of video games, showing me footage of games I know not to be game footage. Just many years of, as recently as Watch Dogs and The Division and all these games, Destiny, chief among them, showing me not only graphics that aren't obtainable, but even sooner than that, Anthem. Whole parts of those games ripped out. So I don't spend much time looking at graphics unless it's an actual gameplay, meaning if it's a first-person shooter, I want to see the HUD, I want to see, show me what it really looks like. And until I see that running on console, I'm actually not interested in it at all. I've just been burned too much by what they call a vertical slice, which is basically a trailer for gaming. So you guys are getting kind of hung up on that, and you're seeing the specs for the Xbox One, the new Xbox One, whatever they're calling it now, Anaconda, Scarlet, whatever, and the PS5. All very exciting tech. But take it from me, guys, that the benchmark, what they're really looking to hit here is 4K at 60. They're going to say 4K at 120. They're going to say, was it 4K at 120, 8K at 30. They're going to say all these things to make you say, I have to have that. So for some clarification, what they will be able to do is 8K upscale. The Xbox One S was capable of 4K upscale. Didn't mean anything because it wasn't 4K. It didn't look better. All it really meant was it could fit a 4K screen. They'll be able to give you 8K upscale, which is basically saying that whatever game you're playing will upscale to an 8K monitor or display. Now, as far as 8K, you have the Samsung 900R, which is available, the Z9G, which isn't something most people will even be able to purchase, and that is really it in terms of LEDs. Your other displays are now still 4K, but I think a lot of you guys feel like with HDMI 2.1 that it may have passed you by already. So back to what I was saying about 1080p at 60. As far as consoles, we would have been happy with 1080p at 60. 4K at 30 is kind of what you're seeing in Xbox One X and PS4 Pro, especially PS4 Pro. But it's 4K at 30. Now, if you're a PC gamer, like I said before, 30 FPS is a no-go. 60 FPS is still, you know, the sweet spot, but PC gamers, you really want 120, 144. I don't see it happening on large displays unless it's that NVIDIA Special Edition display. So, going back to what I was saying is that 1080p at 60 was always the benchmark. 4K at 60 will be the goal. Now, having a PC that's capable of 4K at 60, for a lot of titles, I have a 1080 Ti, I don't ever need it to get better than that, personally. And I can only speak for me. But for many of you that are console gamers, I'm pretty confident in telling you 4K at 60 is going to be just fine. The image is unreal. It is crystal clear. I don't need 8K. For film, not at all. A lot of 4K movies actually can look worse. Grain structure is actually even more pronounced sometimes with 4K. How's it going to look in 8K? So I don't find that necessary. But for gaming, I don't think a lot of people understand the horsepower involved to really make that a reality. But let's just say that we have 4K at 60. So if you have, you know, two guys that recently had a 900F and a Q8FN, just got it the other day, and they're saying, I can't believe I just bought this, all this 8K talk for gaming, am I screwed? So let's just say hypothetically, these displays coming up, or these the Xbox One X can do 4K at 120 FPS, which is a stretch. I mean, you're talking about, it would have to be very, very powerful to get you there. And a lot of games, I don't see it happening myself. You'll still have a 900F that can do 4K at 60 FPS, which is amazing. So the diminishing returns, you still have a display that can do that. Now, how can I prove that? I'm in the market for the Vizio Quantum XP series. I have a 4K TV. So what I'm trying to say, if I wasn't confident in what I was saying, I would definitely buy the Samsung, the 900R, if I really wanted that. So yes, Samsung also has amazing gaming, variable refresh rate, FreeSync. It has these great things to help keep screen tearing from happening. Well, I haven't seen any screen tearing with the Xbox One X, or the PS4 Pro for that matter, in any of the games that I play. They have a built-in VSync. So FreeSync, G-Sync, that would be great to have built into these displays. But what happens if that only supports an AMD GPU? Okay, so if the Microsoft, does it work with that GPU, the new one? Is it going to work with the PS5? We don't really know. But the point is, chasing all of this tech, if it's not really going to come to fruition this generation, then what's the point of chasing it? How many of us have chased HDR and other things before there was actually any content? Or chased all these gaming-specific things. So in regards to what I said before about Mass Effect Andromeda, if you remember, go back and YouTube that trailer. A lot of that didn't come out in the game. It never looked that way. But a lot of people bought that PS4 Pro based on that demo. A lot of you guys are nervous about these games. You're seeing the Halo Infinite running on the new Xbox. Well, if you have a Sony 900F or Q8FN, you're going to be just fine. It's going to look beautiful on a 4K screen. It's going to run at 60 FPS. And I'm telling you, it's smooth and it's beautiful. Again, though, if you're somebody who's used to 120 FPS gaming, then you're still gaming probably at 1440p or 1080p. If you're gaming at 4K at 120 FPS and you have two 2080 Ti's and SLI, then that's awesome. I just don't see you guys having 2080 Ti SLIs in your PC playing on a TV. yet anyway. I mean, if you have that, that's great. I wouldn't chase it myself. So when I upgrade my PC, I'll be doing a CPU. The Ryzen I find very interesting. But my goal is going to be 4K at 60 locked. Now with something like ray tracing, that is going to be beautiful. Ray tracing will be beautiful, but ray tracing will still be able to be done on your current 4K monitor. You're not going to need 1080 HDMI 2.1 through your TV for that. You're not going to need an 8K monitor for ray tracing. You can do ray tracing on even current GPUs, but it's not an HDMI 2.1 specific bandwidth thing that you need for your TV. So even if you do have the new Xbox that has ray tracing and has a high frame rate and has all these amazing things, you're still going to have a 4K at 60 experience. It's going to be incredible. I can only tell you 4K at 120 is going to be very hard to achieve, and 8K at 30 is going to be even more difficult to really achieve. And do you really want that or need it? Being in this hobby, it's diminishing returns. How can I say that? So I have a surround sound system in here. I have 7.2 surrounds. I have 2 subs. It's a very small room. I love the surround sound that I have here. Of course, I'm thinking about Dolby Atmos. The ceilings are too low, but I would have to get rid of my receiver, get a new receiver, maybe a preamp, buy 4 more speakers to put in the ceiling. And I'm thinking to myself, I kind of really like what I have, which is really weird for us when it comes to home theater, especially PC gaming. But with PC gaming, I found the same thing. I love how 4K looks. I mean, 4K versus 1080p for PC gaming, or if you guys have seen the Xbox One X versus the Xbox One, PS4 Pro versus the PS4, I mean, it's night and day. It's beautiful. What I'm trying to say is, I'm good with it. I'm good with 4K at 60. 4K at 120, yeah, that'd be amazing too. So I've had 1080p at 120 FPS on this display. I've used it once. I don't really see the need in it for myself personally. For a lot of you guys coming from console backgrounds, if you're watching this, it's not going to matter to you either. You're going to want to probably play it at 4K 60. That's going to be the goal. Your current 900F and whatever current 4K display you have is going to be just fine for that. You don't need to worry that you made a mistake. And by the time 8K becomes commonplace, now what I mean about 8K is eventually they're going to just make it how 3D was. It's going to just be included. You're going to have to buy it, because they're not going to charge you extra for it. But by that time, then we can talk. But to me, that's still a few years away. You know, so, and even then it won't be a necessity. Some of you guys still have 1080p displays and you're happy. So those of you that just bought 4K displays, this video is for you to just relax. Don't regret your purchase. Don't think you don't have to return it. You don't have to buy a 900R or a Z9G or anything that's HDMI 2.1. You don't have to. What HDMI 2.1 does offer in terms of audio and in terms of, again, maybe color depth, 4:4 chroma at 10-bit, that's what I'm more interested in than HDMI 2.1 for 120 FPS on 4K. You can tell me what movies you know that go at 4K 120 FPS. They're primarily 24 FPS. So there's a couple 4K movies at 60, but again, these can do that. So just do me a favor, don't let the marketing and the wow factor of these press conferences make you afraid or make you feel you made a mistake. Yes, they did mention in that shootout, and shout out to, again, Fades of Black and John Hooper for steering me towards the TV shootout, and for Shane at Spirit Change, who did an amazing job. There's also others of you that have sent me to that TV shootout. Check it out. Check out his channel, Spirit Change, that saw that comment about, yes, the best Sony TV is 8K. I mean, it's true. It's a master series. It's very, very expensive. It's usually not obtainable for many of us. The 950G is going to be the flagship LED there. But in the real world, for real usage in terms of your gaming, what you have currently is going to be fine. It's going to be more than fine. It's going to be gorgeous. 4K at 60, guys, is going to be the benchmark. It's going to be the what they're going to look for. Even the 2080 Ti, which is the most powerful card out right now for consumer purchase within real purchases can't do 4K at 60 in every title. It can't. At least not with everything maxed. We're talking about max detail, by the way. Can it do 8K at 30? Maybe some games, some really old games. But for most of us, 4K at 60 is going to be what's great, and your current display will always be able to do that. You'll be limited by the console you purchase, but it's like for the Xbox One X downsampling for 1080p. 1080p users see a benefit. 4K 900F, Q8FN, P-Series, OLEDs, whatever you have, they're going to be perfect. 4K at 60 is going to be gorgeous. So think about it. 4K at 60 with HDR implementation is going to be beautiful. 4K at 120 FPS, yeah, that would be nice. I don't need it. As smooth as 120 FPS is, if you're a console gamer, you're going to be happy with 60 FPS because you've been playing 30 FPS for many years, except for some, titles. Call of Duty was 60 FPS. But for the most part, 60 FPS is going to be a smooth experience, and it's going to be the great, that great sweet spot. Again, though, if you're looking for that really, really fast response time, 120 FPS, 144 Hertz, chances are you're on a monitor. And the monitors are beasts. I mean, they're awesome. FreeSync, G-Sync, they're great things to have. But I'm going to have to wait to see how well they actually play with NVIDIA cards. Do I have to have an AMD card? How is the new Xbox going to work? Some of you guys have had variable refresh rate with Samsung. They're great options to have. They're excellent options to have. And I give Samsung a lot of credit for thinking of gamers in that regard, to have variable refresh rates and to have screen tearing at a minimum. That's great stuff to have. But I wouldn't chase the 8K version. If you want that, grab the Samsung Q90, the Q80, the Q8FN, Q9FN. Grab those displays if you want those features. But don't feel compelled or pushed into purchasing the 900R. It's the first 8K display from Samsung. I promise you that some of the features that are on that display might not do well in a couple years. They're not even being used, some of them. So I'm just here to tell you guys to not panic, to enjoy your displays. The panel lottery is bad enough as far as questioning, what did we buy? Why did we buy that? Don't let that marketing mess with you. Don't let it make you think I have to get the next best thing. A lot of us had 4K with zero 4K content. And then those of you that had 1080p bought a better 4K display than a lot of us that had it for 2 years. So trust me, 4K is here to stay. It's not going anyplace. I'm looking to buy a new 4K display for the channel. If I didn't believe my own words right now, I'd buy the 8K one, and I'd be, dude, gotta get this. It's 8K. Gotta, I would be doing that. I'm confident in buying a 4K display. But explaining again, why am I confident? I'm okay 4K at 60. If you've never experienced 4K at 60 from a PC or some of your Xbox One X titles or some of your PS4 Pro titles, 4K at 60 is just a smooth experience. Red Dead Redemption 2, a lot of you guys are struggling with the blur that you saw on the PS4 Pro or on the Xbox One X. That blur is a motion blur that is there to kind of keep the frame smooth. You don't feel that at 60. 60 is snappy. Now 120 is really smooth. 120 is next level. I just can't see 4K at 120 being something these consoles at $500 can really deliver. I'll be blown away if they can, and even if they can deliver that at some point at the end of that console's life, 3 or 4 years from now, then buy an 8K TV. But your 8K purchase right now, or feeling bad about your purchase, trust me, you're going to have many years to enjoy that 900F or that P-Series or your TCLs or your Hisense or your OLEDs. You have many, many years, guys. If that display can do 4K, HDMI 2.0, it can do 4K, HDR, it can do all of those things, you're going to have some amazing gaming. And you're going to enjoy the PS5 to its fullest capabilities. You're going to enjoy the Xbox One, Scarlett, Johansson, whatever it's going to be called. If it gets to the point where 8K at 30 is common and you see it in games, well, I think it'll be 3 or 4 years from now and you'll be looking to buy a new display anyway. So I wouldn't stress about that now. I know it's a long video. I am sorry, but I want to let you guys just, from my opinion only, I'm not selling anything. I'm looking to buy a new 4K display. If I wasn't confident in that, I would be buying an 8K one. I'm not I think 4K at 60 is unreal. Again, PC guys, this is not aimed at you in terms of being used to 120, 140 hertz, Counter-Strike fast, boom, 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 boom. Console gamers, you're not going to get that on any console, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. That's what the channel is. Please let me know what your opinion is. Did you buy an 8K display? Did anything at E3 freak you out? Do you feel yourself that you made a mistake or you're having buyer's remorse? I would tell you if you had it. I'm not afraid to tell you guys what I think in regards to that, but I've talked to you individually about you didn't make a mistake. Enjoy your display. Some of you are getting deliveries right now that I talked to last night. Don't let this ruin it. Like I said, the panel lottery can ruin many things. If you have a nice clean display, just enjoy it. You work really, really hard for it. Enjoy its smart features. Enjoy the streaming. Enjoy all the amazing content. All E3 showed you is there's so much 4K content coming, and you're covered at least 4K at 60 with HDR with current displays. All right, guys, I am Brian from Whisper Status 74. I appreciate all you guys. Thank you so much. I will see you in the comments. Take care.